I realized I needed help when, a few months after battling it, I realized and remembered who I was and why I was here on this earth. And I was just tired of living the same life, of just sleeping in bed all day, not eating, not drinking, not wanting to do anything, and just being lazy with my life.
There are days where everything is fine. I can go a couple weeks and be fine. And then it hits you like a bus. Everything seems to pile up.
A lot of it is because my thoughts will spiral, and then I have a hard time breaking out of a pattern of thinking. So it's like that feeling when you're like laying in bed before you go to sleep and you remember that dumb thing you said like 10 years ago, except it's me remembering like every stupid thing that I ever did, and it'll just like keep cycling through my mind and have a hard time kind of breaking out of those habits of thinking.
It feels like butterflies in your stomach a lot of the time. The only way I can describe it is if you're about to go on a roller coaster and you have this like insane nervousness. I pretty much have that consistently throughout most areas of my life, even right now, sitting here. Very nerve-wracking.
So I struggle with anxiety. I wouldn't say I struggle with like super severely. I definitely believe there's people that have it harder, but I struggle with it to a point where sometimes it's really hard for me to try new things because I get nervous. It was my first semester back from my mission. It was my first day back from classes, and I remember being in all my classes. And at the beginning of every single one of my classes, I just had this panic attack. I was like, this is super weird. I've never had these before. I don't know why I'm so scared to be in class. It was very strange. It was my family. I called my mom and I told her, hey, I don't know what's going on, but I freaked out by everything. It was my mom who I kind of relied on in that moment when I realized I had it.
My name is Kyrie Potter and I have ADHD. Living with ADHD is like my brain is a CD that just skips records, and so sometimes you don't get the whole song and you don't get the whole thought, and then sometimes it's like one thought that just is repeatedly going and you can't get it out of your head, and your brain just kind of never turns off.
My name is Claire Phillips and I have OCD and anxiety, and I struggled with bulimia in high school. So I remember I got to my first semester of college. I was 17, I graduated early. Classes would get out 15 minutes. You had a 15-minute break between classes in each classroom, and I would just get so nervous every time I was not standing outside my classroom with less than 30 minutes to spare.
My mother in part, but mostly my best friend at the time. We could support each other. She was just there for me. She was able to listen, not even just talking about depression, just talking in general, being a friend and having a shoulder to cry on or watch movies with, whatever, just having someone there who I could rely on and with whom I didn't feel like I had to put on a mask or anything.
Getting to the point where I was okay with going to a therapist because I felt like it was maybe taking away from another student, whether that was on BYU's therapy or whether that was in another location, taking away from another person, and just realizing it doesn't have to be that type of trade-off. It's okay if multiple people need help, and that therapist is there for all of them.
I just feel like my mind's always just moving so fast. My ADD kind of triggers my anxiety, and then my anxiety kind of triggers my ADD, to where I can't focus, and because I can't focus, that makes me more anxious, and because I'm more anxious, I can't focus. I feel like that there's not a day that goes by that I struggle with my ADD or my anxiety. It really has changed who I am today, and it's sad to say that the person I am today is because of the insecurities that were caused when I was younger. I think that regardless, I am who I am today because that's who I'm supposed to be. I hope that through any trials or struggles that I've dealt with in my life, can be there to empathize for those who do struggle with mental health.